In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where empires rise and fall like shooting stars, one truth remains unshaken. Fear is the ultimate conqueror. But what if the sight of a single species could shatter the resolve of the galaxy's most ruthless warrior? Dive into a tale where humanity's unyielding spirit turns the tide of interstellar war, forcing an alien overlord to question everything he knows. Prepare to witness how one glance at Earth's defenders ignites a revolution of the soul. Will you dare to see what makes humans unbreakable? The stars burned brightly over the war-torn planet of Zorith Prime, a world caught in the crossfire of the Galactic Dominion's endless conquests. General Vexor, a towering figure from the reptilian Krozl Empire, stood on the command bridge of his flagship, the Devastator. His scales shimmered under the harsh lights as he surveyed the battlefield through holographic displays. For decades, Vexor had led his forces to victory after victory, crushing rebellions and annexing worlds with cold efficiency. His name struck terror into the hearts of countless species, earning him the title the Unyielding Claw. But this campaign was different. The Dominion had encountered a new foe. Humans from Earth, a backwater planet on the fringes of known space. Reports dismissed them as primitive, with no advanced tech or psychic abilities. Vexor scoffed at the idea. "How can such weaklings stand against us?" he hissed to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Skara. The lieutenant nodded, her eyes flickering with the same arrogance. As the invasion fleet descended, Vexor's troops deployed in waves. Armored Krozl warriors, enhanced with cybernetic implants and energy shields, charged forward. The humans, clad in simple composite armor and wielding projectile weapons, seemed laughable. Yet, the first skirmish reports trickled in. Human soldiers held their ground, adapting mid-battle, using terrain in ways no simulation predicted. Vexor leaned closer to the feed. One human squad, outnumbered 10-1, flanked his elite unit. They moved with a raw, unpredictable fury, diving into craters, improvising explosives from debris, and fighting even when wounded. A human soldier, his legs shattered by plasma fire, crawled forward to drag a comrade to safety while firing back. "What madness is this?" Vexor muttered. His claws tightened on the console. By nightfall, the Krozl advance stalled. Vexor ordered an orbital scan, revealing human fortifications built overnight from scavenged materials. Their leaders barked orders not with fear, but with a strange camaraderie, laughing in the face of death. Vexor felt an unfamiliar chill. These weren't soldiers driven by implants or loyalty drugs. They fought for something deeper, an invisible bond that made them relentless. As the battle raged on, Vexor witnessed a pivotal moment. A human pilot, in a crippled fighter, rammed straight into a Krozl destroyer, sacrificing himself to save his fleet. The explosion lit up the sky, and cheers erupted from the human lines. Vexor's mind reeled. In his culture, self-sacrifice was weakness, yet here it turned the tide. For the first time, doubt crept into his iron will. "Pull back the vanguard," he commanded, his voice unsteady. Skara stared in shock. "General," but Vexor was already turning away, the image of those defiant humans burning in his thoughts. This wasn't just a battle, it was a revelation. The retreat from Zorith Prime echoed through the Dominion's channels like a thunderclap. General Vexor, the architect of 100 triumphs, had ordered his forces to withdraw without explanation. Whispers spread among the ranks. Had the great leader lost his nerve? On the Devastator's bridge, Vexor paced, ignoring the frantic hails from high command. His eyes, usually sharp with predatory focus, now held a haunted gleam. Lieutenant Skara approached cautiously. "Sir, the Council demands answers. The humans are pushing back. They've reclaimed the southern continents." Vexor waved her off, fixated on replaying the battle footage. Frame by frame, he studied the humans, a medic patching wounds under fire, refusing to leave anyone behind, engineers jury-rigging alien tech into deadly traps, even civilians arming themselves to join the fray. Their resilience wasn't technological. It was primal, forged in a history of survival against odds. That night, in his quarters, Vexer accessed forbidden archives on Earth. He learned of their world wars, where nations rose from ashes, of explorers crossing deadly voids, of everyday people defying tyrants. They thrive on chaos, he whispered. A seed of envy sprouted. His own empire built power through domination, but humans built it through unity and sheer will. The next day, the humans launched a counteroffensive. Vexer's scouts reported sights that defied logic. Human troops charging into energy barges, using guerrilla tactics to dismantle supply lines. One report detailed a single human sniper holding a pass against a platoon, picking off invaders with precision-bore practice, not augmentation. When cornered, the sniper fought hand-to-hand, teeth bared in defiance. Vexer's resolve cracked further. He called a war council, but instead of strategy, he questioned his officers. Why do they not break? Our weapons superior, our numbers vast, yet they adapt, they endure. Silence fell. One young tactician ventured, perhaps it's their hope, General. They believe in victory, even when it's impossible. Hope. The word tasted foreign. In the Krasl way, hope was illusion, power was truth. But watching a human battalion rally after heavy losses, singing anthems as they advanced, Vexer felt the weight of his own emptiness. He had conquered worlds, but never truly lived for anything beyond orders. By evening, Vexer made a decision that would shatter his life. "Prepare my shuttle," he told Skara. "I'm going planetside." She protested, but he silenced her. Disguised in a cloaking field, he descended to Zorith, sneaking into human-held territory. From the shadows, he observed a campfire gathering. Soldiers shared stories, laughed at near deaths, and planned with optimism. One veteran spoke of Earth. Home's worth every scar. Freedom ain't given, it's taken. Vexer's heart pounded. For the first time, he yearned for something beyond conquest. As dawn broke, he slipped away, his mind ablaze with a dangerous idea, defecting to the humans. Betrayal hung heavy in the air as General Vexer steered his shuttle away from the Devastator, evading pursuit craft with maneuvers honed over years of command. Alarms blared in the cockpit, but he ignored them, his destination clear, the human forward base on Zorith Prime. Skara's voice crackled over the comms, pleading, "General, this is treason. Return at once." He cut the link, his scales flushing with a mix of fear and exhilaration. Landing in a neutral zone, Vexer deactivated his weapons and stepped out, hands raised in universal surrender. Human patrols surrounded him swiftly, rifles trained on his massive form. "Identify yourself," barked a sergeant, her eyes wide at the sight of a Krasl elite. Vexer lowered his hood. "I am General Vexer. I come to parley." Escorted to the command tent under heavy guard, Vexer faced Colonel Ramirez, a battle-hardened human with scars mapping his face like constellations. "You've got guts showing up here," Ramirez said, leaning on a table strewn with maps. "After what your fleet did to our colonies." Vexer met his gaze. "I have seen your soldiers fight. It has changed me." Over hours of tense talks, Vexer shared Dominion secrets, weak points in their shields, supply routes, even fleet compositions. In return, he asked questions about humanity. "How do you persist without enhancements? What drives you?" Ramirez chuckled. "Simple. We protect our own. Family, friends, ideals. Ain't no implant can match that." As days passed, Vexer integrated into the human camp, his knowledge turning the tide. He witnessed their ingenuity firsthand. A team of mechanics repurposing Krasl wreckage into hybrid vehicles, faster and deadlier. Soldiers trained him in human tactics, teaching evasion and improvisation. One evening, around a fire, a young recruit shared a meal. "Why do you switch sides, big guy?" Vexer paused. "Your kind fights not for glory, but for life." "I want that." The Dominion retaliated fiercely, launching orbital strikes. Vexer fought alongside humans, his plasma rifle covering advances. In one brutal clash, he shielded a fallen soldier from fire, earning a nod of respect. "You're one of us now," the soldier gasped. Vexor's doubt faded. This was purpose. But High Command learned of his defection. A bounty was placed, and assassins struck at night. Vexor thwarted them, using his insider knowledge. Ramirez promoted him to advisor. "You've got a shot at redemption," he said. Vexor nodded, but his thoughts drifted to Earth, the cradle of this unbreakable spirit. One day, he vowed silently, "I will see it." As the war escalated, Vexor dreamed of peace, not as conqueror, but as ally. With Zorith Prime secured, the human alliance pushed deeper into Dominion space. General Vexor, now simply Vexor, serving as a key strategist. His defection rippled through the galaxy, inspiring whispers of rebellion among oppressed species. On the human flagship Terra's Fury, Vexor stood beside Colonel Ramirez, plotting the assault on the Krosel core worlds. "Earth Command wants you debriefed," Ramirez said during a briefing. "But first we end this." Vexor agreed, sharing vulnerabilities in the Dominion's defenses. Human fleets, bolstered by captured tech, struck with precision. In one engagement, Vexor's tactics lured enemy ships into a trap, where human pilots executed daring maneuvers, looping through asteroid fields, using gravity slingshots to outflank. Amid the chaos, Vexor reflected on his transformation. No longer the cold general, he bantered with crew, learning human customs, sharing coffee during shifts, celebrating small victories with toasts. An engineer named Lena taught him chess, a game of strategy mirroring war. "It's about thinking ahead, but also adapting," she explained. Vexor lost often, but relished the challenge. "Your minds are weapons," he admitted. The turning point came at the Battle of Nexus Station, a key Dominion hub. Vexor led a boarding party, fighting corridor to corridor. Facing his former comrades, he hesitated only once, confronting Skara. "Why betray us?" she snarled, weapons clashing. "Because I found something better," Vexor replied, disarming her without killing. "Join me." She fled, shaken. Victorious, the humans granted amnesty to defectors. Vexor addressed them. "The Dominion rules through fear. Humans through strength of heart. Choose wisely." Many switched sides, swelling ranks. Post-battle, Vexor requested passage to Earth. "I must see the source of your power," he told Ramirez. Approved, he boarded a transport, heart racing. En route, he studied Earth's history, revolutions, innovations, acts of heroism. A planet of survivors, he marveled. Arriving in Earth's orbit, Vexor gazed at the blue marble. Landed in a secure facility, he met diplomats. "Welcome," one said, extending a hand. Vexor clasped it, feeling the warmth of alliance. Touring cities, he saw diversity, people of all backgrounds thriving together. In a park, children played freely, unafraid. "This is what we fight for," a guide explained. Vexor sought asylum, vowing to aid humanity's defense. "Your soldiers showed me true strength," he said in his application. Granted, he began a new life, teaching alien tactics while learning human ways. Peace talks loomed, with Vexor as bridge. Yet, threats lingered, the Dominion wouldn't forget. But Vexor was ready, inspired by Earth's unyielding spirit. Years after his defection, Vexor walked Earth's streets as a citizen, his scales drawing curious glances but no fear. He had become an ambassador, fostering ties between species. The war ended with the Dominion's collapse, thanks to human-led coalitions. Vexor often visited memorials, honoring fallen from all sides. One day, in a quiet museum, he recounted his story to students. "I was a conqueror," he began, "until I saw human soldiers. Their courage wasn't in weapons, but in refusing to yield. It made me quit everything and seek this world." The students listened, eyes wide. A girl asked, "What changed you most?" Vexor smiled. "One look at them fighting for each other. It showed me life's true value." In his home, overlooking oceans, Vexor wrote memoirs, detailing battles and revelations. Friends visited. Ramirez retired. Lena, now a colleague. They shared laughs, planning future explorations. But shadows remained. Rogue Dominion elements plotted revenge. When an attack struck a colony, Vexor volunteered, leading defenses with human ingenuity. "We've got this," he roared, echoing Earth's defiance. Victorious again, Vexor returned, content. Humanity's spirit had saved him, and, in turn, he protected it. As stars twinkled, he whispered, "Thank you," to the soldiers who reshaped his destiny. The galaxy healed, with Earth at its heart, a beacon of resilience. Vexor's journey proved, sometimes one glance changes everything. The stars above Zorith Prime looked cold and sharp, like knives hanging in the black sky. General Vexor stood on the bridge of his huge warship, the Devastator. He was very tall, even for Krozl. His dark green scales caught the blue light from the control screens. His yellow eyes moved slowly across the battle maps that floated in front of him. For 40 years, Vexor had won every war the Galactic Dominion gave him. Planets fell. Armies broke. Whole species begged for mercy. They called him the Unyielding Claw because nothing ever stopped him. Nothing ever made him afraid. Today should have been easy. The enemy was new. The enemy was human. Everyone said humans were weak. They come from a small, wet world at the edge of known space, Vexor said to Lieutenant Skara. His voice was low and rough like stones grinding together. Skara stood beside him. She was smaller but just as dangerous. Her tail moved slowly from side to side. Their ships are old. Their weapons are slow. They have no energy shields. They fight with metal bullets. Bullets! She made a small laugh that sounded like hissing steam. "We will finish them in 3 days." Vexor did not laugh. He only watched the screens. The first landing ships were already dropping through the clouds. Thousands of Krozl soldiers in black armor poured onto the red plains of Zorith Prime. Each soldier had strong cybernetic legs, fast plasma guns, and personal force fields that could stop most attacks. They moved like a black river. On the other side waited the humans. Vexor zoomed the picture closer. The human soldiers looked small. Their armor was thick, but plain gray. No glowing energy. No extra arms or legs made of metal. They carried long rifles that shot pieces of metal very fast. Some had small knives on the end of the guns. Some carried heavy bags on their backs. They stood in long lines behind hills and broken walls. "Pathetic," Skara said. Vexor said nothing. The first attack started at sunrise. Krozl dropships screamed down and opened their doors. Soldiers jumped out and ran forward. Their plasma rifles sent bright blue fire across the field. Human positions exploded. Dirt flew high. Smoke rose in thick black clouds. For a few minutes, everything looked normal. The Dominion always won the first minutes. Then, something strange happened. A small group of humans did not run. They stayed. They dropped to the ground. They crawled. They moved from rock to rock. When the Krozl got close, the humans threw small round things. The round things exploded with loud bangs and sent sharp pieces everywhere. Many Krozl soldiers fell. Others stopped and looked around, confused. Vexor leaned forward. His claws pressed hard against the metal rail. On the main screen, he saw one human soldier. The man had blood on his face. His left arm hung loose. A plasma burn had taken most of his shoulder. But he kept moving. He used only one hand to hold his rifle. He fired. Again. Again. Each shot hit a Krozl in the weak spot between armor plates. When he ran out of bullets, he pulled a knife from his belt. He stood up. He screamed something. Then, he charged straight at 3 Krozl soldiers who were twice his size. Vexor felt his tail go still. The human fought like a wild animal. He jumped on the first Krozl. He pushed the knife into the soft part under the jaw. The Krozl dropped. The second one fired. The human rolled away. He grabbed a fallen plasma rifle. He used it like a club and broke the second soldier's helmet. The third Krozl tried to run. The human shot him in the back. Then the human fell to his knees. He breathed hard. Blood ran for his mouth. But he raised his head and shouted again. Other humans heard him. They came running. They picked him up. They carried him back behind the lines while still shooting. Vexor stared at the screen for a long time. Skara spoke. "One lucky human. It means nothing." Vexor did not answer. The battle continued all morning. The Krozl pushed forward. They took the first line of hills. They took the dry riverbed. They took the old mining towers. But every meter cost them more soldiers than it should. Humans fought in strange ways. When a Krozl squad moved in perfect formation, humans did not meet them head-on. They disappeared. They hid. Then they appeared from the sides or behind. They attacked fast and ran away. They used smoke. They used fire. They used broken pieces of their own ships as weapons. One human team took a crashed Krozl dropship. They worked fast. In less than 1 hour, they turned the ship's big gun to face the Dominion lines. They fired it. The explosion was so strong it made a new crater. Vexor felt something cold in his stomach. It was not fear. Not yet. It was something worse. It was confusion. At noon, he gave new orders. Send the second wave. Use heavy walkers. The heavy walkers were machines 20 meters tall. They had thick armor and cannons that could destroy buildings. When they stepped on the ground, the earth shook. The walkers moved forward like giants. Humans ran from them. Some humans were crushed. Others were burned by the fire cannons. But not all ran. A group of humans stayed in a narrow valley. They had small launchers on their shoulders. They waited until the first walker was very close. Then they fired. Long tubes of fire hit the walker's legs. The metal glowed red. The walker tried to step forward. Its leg broke. It fell sideways. It crushed 2 more walkers behind it. The humans did not cheer. They only reloaded and waited for the next one. Vexor watched every second. His claws left deep marks in the metal. By afternoon, the sun was red and low. The sky looked bloody. Smoke covered the plains. The smell of burned metal and flesh came even to the bridge through the air filters. Skara came close. We still have more soldiers. We can end this tonight. Vexor looked at her. How many dead? Skara looked at her datapad. She spoke quietly. 4,800. Vexor closed his eyes for a moment. In all his wars, he had never lost 4,000 in one day against a weak enemy. He opened his eyes. Show me the prisoners. The screen changed. It showed a group of captured humans. Their hands were tied behind their backs. Their faces were black with dirt and blood. One young human woman looked straight at the camera. She did not lower her eyes. She did not shake. She only stared. A Krozl guard pushed her. She felt her knees. She stood up again. Slow. Calm. She looked at the camera once more. Vexor felt the cold feeling grow bigger. He turned off the screen. Night came fast on Zorth Prime. The stars came out. The fighting slowed, but did not stop. Small groups moved in the dark. Shots rang out. Explosions flashed like lightning. Vexor stayed on the bridge. He did not sleep. He watched the small screens that showed soldiers' helmet cameras. One camera showed a human soldier hiding in a cave. He was alone. His leg was broken. Bone came through the skin. He tied it with a piece of cloth. He talked to himself. He said words Vexor did not understand. Then he laughed. A small, tired laugh. He took a small box from his pocket. He opened it. Inside was a picture of a woman and 2 small children. He looked at the picture for a long time. Then he closed the box. He kissed it. He put it back in his pocket. After that, he picked up his rifle. He crawled out of the cave. He moved toward a Krozl camp. He was slow. He was in pain, but he kept moving. The camera showed him stop behind a rock. He aimed. He fired. One Krozl soldier fell. Then another. The camp woke up. Lights came on. Soldiers ran toward him. The human soldier stood up. He fired until his rifle was empty. Then he pulled 2 small balls from his belt. He threw them. They exploded. Many Krozl died. The human fell. Plasma burns covered his body. He lay on his back. He looked up at the stars. He smiled. He whispered something. Then he closed his eyes. The camera kept recording. It showed the stars. It showed the smoke. It showed the quiet after the fight. Vexor watched until the camera battery died. He stood up. He walked to the window. He looked at the planet below. Fires burned everywhere, red and orange against the black ground. For the first time in his life, General Vexor felt small. He turned to Skara. His voice was quiet. Call back the front lines. We will hold position tonight. Skara looked shocked. Sir, do it. She obeyed. Vexor stayed at the window a long time. The cold feeling inside him grew. It was not fear. It was something deeper. It was the beginning of doubt. He did not know it yet, but that doubt would change everything. The next morning the sun rose red again. The humans attacked first. They came from 3 directions at once. They used the night to move soldiers and machines. They had new weapons. Some looked like they were made from Krosel parts. They had learned fast. Vexer watched the screens. He saw a human tank. It was old. It had wheels instead of legs. But it moved quick. It had a long gun. It fired shells that exploded with bright white light. The shells broke Krosel shields. He saw human soldiers run beside the tank. They laughed. They shouted. They looked happy in the middle of death. One human carried another on his back. The carried man had no legs. He still held a rifle. He shot while being carried. Both men laughed. Vexer could not understand. He gave orders to push back. He sent more walkers. He sent bombers from orbit. He used everything he had. The humans did not stop. They hid in tunnels. They came out behind the lines. They cut supply roads. They burned fuel tanks. They took prisoners and then released them with messages. The messages were simple. We will not surrender. We protect our home. We die standing. Vexer read every message. Each one made the cold feeling bigger. By the 3rd day, the Krosel lines were weak. Many soldiers were tired. Many were dead. The humans were tired too, but they kept coming. Vexer stood alone on the bridge. Most officers had left to rest. Only Scar stayed. She spoke softly. Sir, we can still win. We have the ships. We can burn their cities from orbit. Vexer looked at the planet. He saw the human flags. Small pieces of cloth. Blue and white and red. They waved on broken hills. They waved in the wind. He thought about the soldier with the broken leg. The one who kissed the picture of his family. He thought about the woman who looked straight into the camera. He thought about the man who smiled at the stars before he died. Something broke inside General Vexer. He spoke. His voice was calm. Prepare my personal shuttle. Skara stared. Sir, I'm going down. You cannot. I must. He walked past her. He did not look back. The shuttle left the Devastator. It fell through the clouds. It landed in a quiet place far from the fighting. Vexer stepped out. He took off his helmet. He dropped his weapons. He raised his hands. He walked toward the human lines. He did not know what would happen. He only knew one thing. He could not fight them anymore. One look at human soldiers had been enough. It was enough to make the unyielding claw quit.